Somebody wrote me an email last week and she said, oh, it's awful. Everything is so bad around me. You know, people are losing their jobs, people are having problems, people are doing this, people are doing that. And I wrote back and I thought, I thought you were the good news. I thought you were the evolutionary power. In other words, I turned it back on her, and it doesn't really have to do with anything outside. What's going on outside has nothing to do with who you are. You're the one that's looking at what's going on outside. You're supposed to be the good news. If you can't find good news outside, then you're the good news. You are the good news. We don't need things outside to be nice to be the good news. I can be the good news. I can be the good news with lung disease. I can be the good news with cancer. I can be the good news without a job. I can be the good news with a job. I can be the good news living in here. I can be the good news living in New York. Because the news I'm presenting isn't relative to anything going on outside or what's happening outside. The nature of how you embrace things outside is the good news. Do you actuate good things outside? Do you serve the highest ideals? Do you invoke the supreme? Do you look at things with compassion? Do you look at things through the eyes of transformation so whatever life puts in front of you, you can develop and grow from those things? Or are they all things that cut you down and make you feel small and limited because things outside aren't going the way you want them to be? You're not in control of what's going on outside. Haven't you noticed? We are the good news because we realize our own state is not dictated by all these things outside. Regardless of what's going on, we still will manifest and live the ideals and serve the ideals. If your nature of your own happiness is conditioned by things outside, you can never find permanent happiness because everything outside is changing. There may be good times, there may be bad times. There may be good health, there may be bad health. There may be times your relationship's going smoothly, there may be times your relationship's rocky. This is the nature of life. If your happiness depends on how these things are outside, you cannot rest in anything permanent or substantial within yourself. You have to find happiness, you have to find peace, you have to find joy, you have to find the joy in being and the joy in serving in yourself, which is irrelevant to what's going on outside, and engage with things outside in ways that are conscious to help bring about a better situation. And be grateful for that opportunity. If you're a victim of circumstance, you're a bogey, not a yogi. And you will be back again, and again, and again. It's not relevant to anything out there. It's relevant to who you are. It's relevant to you, not your friends, not anything out there. Who are you? What's your state? And what are you doing with it? That's what tells the story. Nothing else. You've already had thousands of births where you had nice husbands, you had great wives, you had lots of children, you had super jobs. In the Hindu philosophy, you go through 8,400,000 births to get a human body. Then thousands of births, thousands of situations. And here we are back again, still trying to work it out. Still trying to get a relationship together. After being married thousands of times, you're still working on it. This is not the solution to life. This is not what the yogis are talking about. It's not relevant to your relationship. It's relevant to you. What you bring into it. What you're serving. What am I serving when I talk with you? What am I doing here? Being here now means in the now, you're serving that. You're always in that disposition. It doesn't waver with circumstance. It threads every moment. It's your disposition. It's your ongoing disposition. It's the nature of your engagement, which does not fluctuate with circumstance. Oh, that's interesting. I'm sick today. I lost all my money in the stock market. Somebody came and they talked for an hour and gave me a headache. That's interesting. I didn't get to sleep tonight. Wow. Far out. Let the karmas run. Life's moving as it moves. I'm still fine. I'm the one that's looking at all these things. I'm the one that's watching all these things. I'm not these things. I'm not my mind. I'm not my body. I'm not my sleep. I'm not my house. And I'm not my car. Those are all things for me to use. Those are all things that I'm relating to. Those are all things I'm serving the ideal in. I'll exist after my body dies. I'll exist after you die. I exist after I move out of this house. I've had so many houses, I can't remember the houses. I've had so many situations, they're all hazed out. It's just serving that in the moment. Being in a state of poise. Being in a state of a disposition of service and surrender. In the joy of being, in the joy of serving. The great cause. The evolutionary impulse. Shakti, the mother. Yoga. Any fool can go out and experience some kind of pleasure. It doesn't take anything. You can get popcorn, you can have sex, you can drink beer, you can do anything you want. And then it's over. Whoop-de-doo. Worms are propagating, birds are propagating, pigs are propagating. You're a human being. There's more going on than propagation. You're here to invoke something great in this realm, not just to propagate, not just to get drunk, not just to be happy. Serve something great. Let that be your happiness. Not happiness in things you need, happiness in things you want. If you don't get these things, then you feel sad. Well, these yogis didn't have any of these things. They were happy as a lark. The Yogi just had a little suitcase. And everybody was coming in, businessmen, engineers, philosophers, people with PhDs, people with hundreds of thousands of dollars, $1 million houses were coming to him to get knowledge, and he just had a little suitcase, and he was the one that was happy, and he was the one that was trying to help them. Anandamayi just slept on a grass pad on the cement floor. She had hundreds of thousands of devotees, hundreds of thousands of people trying to get something from her. And she lived on a grass pad on the cement floor and owned nothing because she was in a state. The state is all that matters. The state is all you take with you. You don't take your cars. You don't take anything except your state. Your state is you. If you want to work on things, you've got to work on improving your state and work on what you do with the state of being that you're in. That's yoga. And the rest is boga. The rest is delusion. If you're fortunate and you have good health and you have good looks and you have some money, then use those things to serve something great. And if you don't have those things, then use whatever you got to serve something great. Because serving something great is what is great. Here's the way I look at it. Dhyan Yogi said, body's an apartment, the lease is running out. We're here for a short period of time, then we're leaving the body. We're leaving this plane. The only thing we take with us is our love and devotion for God and our good deeds that go with us, the karma, the fruits. From the yogic perspective, from the perspective of these saints, what matters is spiritual evolution and bringing that awareness into the world and serving those ideals in the world, and everything else is only an occasion. Everything else in itself has no value unless it becomes a vehicle of that, and then that's what gives it value. If you're serving the Supreme in your relationship, it gives the relationship value. If you're serving your ideals through the relationship, it gives the relationship value. It depends what you do with what you're in and how you engage with what you're in that gives it value. You want to get it together while you still have a chance to get it together before everything crumbles and you don't have super health. This is the time to get it together. I did my meditation for 18 or 20 years every morning, did my sadhanas and served the Guru and did all those things. Now I got it under my belt so I can deal with all these problems. It's okay. It's okay now. Whatever happens is fine. You got a good solid base. A base of the inner self, base of the recognition of what is. A yogi is someone that has experienced the true state of being. They recognize the nature of reality. They're serving and invoking the ideal in whatever presents itself to them. They are the eternal good news. And everywhere they look, they see sparkling consciousness. It's assuming all these forms. These are like super beings. They're super beings. They're not lost in the samsara. They're not lost in idle pursuits. They're not grasping every day trying to squeeze some pleasure out of situations. They are the pleasure. They're the source of pleasure. They found pleasure inside. They don't need anything outside. Nothing. They have an inner self brighter than 1,000 suns. Let's be the good news. Let's be a manifestation of the evolutionary impulse. Let's not be a slave and a victim to circumstance.